Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be what if the red-headed pirates raised Luffy. In this one, well, the red-headed pirates would decide to, well, they're going to raise Luffy, as the title says. But how's going to happen? Well, first off, Luffy, once he steps out, he gets the straw hat and everything. Well, the crew step inside to go drink, and Luffy knows that, for the last drink of Fuchsia, Luffy knows it will take him if he asks, as he already asked twice. Luffy ran into the ship and stowed away on it. Luffy kept watched through kind of a small hole in the ship that he made via like a small knife, the one that he stabbed his eye or under his eye. And once he got a shot of Fuchsia, he immediately ran up, yelling, "I am here!" like he's All Might. Speaking of All Might, go check out my What If Naruto and Here to One for All What If. I should drop soon in about 2 hours from when I'm recording this. So yeah, I'm recording at like 4 p.m. That would have supposed to drop at like 6 p.m. So yeah. All right. So with this, well, we go on to basically just well, the Red Parts are in complete shock as Bonk, Punch, and Monster. Bonk, Punch being the giant bald guy, Monster being the monkey. Well, they confront Luffy. They basically grab Luffy, not knowing if it's like someone else. Like it's kind of very dark, but they're kind of caught off guard. And then there's Luffy. They maybe ask why he's here and how he's here, and they just say, Luffy just says, "Oh, I stowed away on the ship," or I don't think he knows the word stowed away, so he just says, "Oh, I was hiding in the ship." They try to head back to Fuchsia, but Shanks says they're kind of already too far out. And with how far out at sea they are, they're kind of already at risk from Marines watching them from a distance. Bringing them back to Fuchsia would be a pretty bad idea. So they decide to continue their journey with Luffy by their side. Which leads to them heading over the mountain where they meet Crocus. And Crocus get along pretty well still, so yeah. Crocus also meets Luffy, and Luffy for the first time would meet Laboon. With the we'll move more forward on to basically them when they meet at Rayleigh. Me and Rayleigh was kind of pretty fun. The Red Pirates going to dock at Saboti for a few weeks, like 2-3. And in the meantime, of those 2-3 weeks, Rayleigh gets done training Luffy for a bit. And well, Luffy gets Devil Fruit, but one that's training Buggy controls Devil Fruit on an okay degree happened to be Rayleigh was a decent part of it, so teaching Luffy a few things wasn't too bad. As Red Pirates don't have Devil Fruits that we know of, so it'd be a lot harder for them to be teaching someone how to control their Devil Fruit. With this, Rayleigh will teach Luffy go no whip and go no pistol. So yeah. Because Red Pirates are usually using weapons like cutlasses, guns, so on and so forth. Rayleigh would also teach Luffy how to use a sword, even giving Luffy his own long sword. So yeah. Pause. So Luffy is given one sword by Rayleigh that looks like a long sword, but it's more like a long katana. The one that Rayleigh gives Luffy is an Odachi. Then eventually, Luffy buys his own sword, being a Nodachi. Nodachi is like 4'9" compared to Luffy, who's like 3 feet at this age. So he has 2 swords that are bigger than him. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure the Nodachi is 57 inches, and the Nodachi is 57, and Odachi more like 40, 45, I believe. So yeah. But because those blades were a lot bigger than him, or for him, Rayleigh basically gives Luffy like I would say maybe what was it? A Tonto or Wakizashi. So yeah. And with this, Luffy's taught how to wield them properly. So yeah. And he ends up teaching Luffy how to shoot as well. So yeah. To get Luffy more accustomed to like fighting things that are pretty fast, Luffy is raised on Ruskaina but taught how to fight on Ruskaina. And this brought the Red Pirates stay there for roughly around a month. So, yeah. Around a month in Sabaody, then a month on Ruskaina, then eventually they leave. We're just on the New World for a bit, even heading to Fishman Island, where they hang out there for a bit, seeing Jinbei, but they leave because it's Whitebeard's territory. They really shouldn't be out there too long, even if it's just for a peaceful visit. So, yeah. Pause. So, yeah. So eventually in the New World, they kind of hang out there for a bit, and Luffy just explores random islands, hanging out there for a bit. Now, Garp immediately seems that Luffy just will... You notice that Shanks is a bit like Roger, and that Roger wouldn't randomly take a child, and Machina even said that Shanks refuses to take Luffy, so Garp assumes that Luffy stowed away on the red-haired ship. So yeah. Now Shanks probably can... Well, Shanks doesn't know about Luffy's name as well, so he's kind of just wary of Marines, knowing that Garp probably has at least some Marines looking for Luffy. And he's right, Garp does. When it comes to fighting like Marines, Shanks kind of has Luffy hiding. Then when it comes to fighting pirates, Luffy can fight if he wants to. So, yeah. Luffy can handle himself pretty well, I guess. And then eventually, when they get to Elbaf and a few other random islands that Luffy is able to train at openly for like, as long as Luffy stayed on one island was around 2 years or so. So yeah. But eventually went to Luffy 16, so around 9 years later. So yeah, 9 years later, Luffy 16, and decides to leave to be his own pirate. Recently, he also met someone that Garp had raised, or not Garp, but someone that Garp knew as a grandson, being, well, Ace. And Ace is a bit less of a go-lucky guy, as without Luffy there to kind of just make him a bit more joyous, well, he had ended up being like just alone at Blue Jam's slave for so long. So yeah. He's a bit more subdued and pretty calm, but still part of Whitebeard's crew. So, yeah. Pause. So, yeah, so he's pretty reserved, but pretty laid back. We met Luffy, and not as smiley. But after Ace got drunk a bit, Luffy and him kind of hit it off for a bit. And with this, well, eventually Ace even opened up to be his, well, true self, as he is in canon. So yeah, but the Whitebeard Pirates were pretty shocked to see Ace being this much like Ace. So yeah. Now Luffy 16 wants to sit on his own, and Shanks lets him, as Luffy would leave. And he usually wields his Odachi by his side, and his Nodachi he kind of just has in his boat just for fun. So yeah. And these are both katana, making Luffy a pretty okay swordsman. He's also a pretty good sniper, because his sniper range is not like, it's better than Usopp's, but like it'd take at least Usopp and like Wano to outmatch Luffy's sniper range. Luffy's a pretty okay user of observation and Conqueror's Haki. He's better at Conqueror's than he is in canon. Well, then his Armor Haki, he kind of left when he started training for that. Or, but like, he kind of left in the middle of the training for it, so, yeah. But Luffy goes around the world for a bit, and eventually leads to him actually going to Water 7. Well, first of all, throwing a triangle and meets Brook. But Brook already had Shadow stolen, and Brook can only leave it. So Luffy kind of went to, like, go to Bark, found Ryuma, fought Ryuma, and then took the katana from Ryuma, then left. Well, katana and the shadow guy actually cut Ryuma in half. So, yeah. So as Luffy basically leaves, well, he leaves with Brook Shadow, and him and Brook just sailed our 7, where Luffy wanted a bigger boat, as he has a decent amount of money with him. So, with this, well, Luffy kind of has an ancient relic that can be worth a lot of money, and their ancient relic is from a civilization that no one cares about, but it's worth a lot of money. Luffy turned it in, and this would give him roughly around 2 billion berries in total, so, yeah. Able to turn in for money and this praise for 2 billion berries. Frankie only tries to rob Luffy, only for Luffy to beat them all up disrespectfully. Then as he's buying a new ship, eventually it leads to Frankie attacking Luffy. Luffy put his sword in the way, down from looking at Frankie, and Frankie punched Luffy's blade. And his Nodachi is something that Rayleigh personally, his Odachi is something that Rayleigh personally gave him, that Rayleigh used to wield for training. So this sword is nearly almost a black blade. It's a great grade sword. It used to be Rayleigh's himself. The Nodachi is honestly just a really, really well made blade that's a curse blade. So he wields a great grade sword. It's not really anything special. It's just that Rayleigh nearly made it a black blade if he had it for at least a few more months and trained with it. His Nodachi is just a curse blade that's a great grade blade as well. So yeah. Now with this, what the blue curse blade that Luffy has, what it does kind of just drain your willpower. But Luffy's the main character and a Conqueror's Haki user. So Luffy easily overwhelmed the Nodachi's cursed ability. So yeah. And blades are not named at all. Luffy doesn't really name them. But then eventually, he didn't name them at first, but once he got accustomed to pirate life and just got to know a bit of history of the world, he had named one blade, basically, he had named his Odachi that Rayleigh gave him, he named it Roger. Then eventually the other blade he got, well, his Odachi doesn't know what to name it with the name of the Odachi. So, pause. The name of Luffy's katana, or his Nodachi, is Nodamitsu. So, yeah, you guys can Google why it chose that name. So yeah, Luffy has kind of just stopped Frankie's attack with his Odachi. That's around and almost got out Frankie's arm with how fast that slash was. But Luffy proceeds to fight Frankie and easily overwhelming him. Luffy does have the same variety of techniques as in canon because he had to train himself with double hood abilities. So yeah, but he's easily able to overwhelm Frankie disrespectfully, and it's relatively pretty easy. So yeah. Pause. So yeah. Also check something. Yep, never mind. It was the Kisuke Urohara Luffy that's coming out 2 hours from now. So watch out for that video. Alright. With this, well, we go on probably just Luffy buying a ship after beating up Frankie, and Frankie wasn't really sure how to fight for Luffy. It was pretty simple actually. But after Luffy couldn't really find a boat that he liked, he kind of got a bit bored, and had an idea. Frankie came back for a rematch, and Luffy made Frankie a bet. Frankie thought to have prep time for, well, like, I don't have a week's worth of prep time for the fight. Frankie can't beat Luffy, and Luffy doesn't get to prep. Frankie has to build him a whole new ship from scratch. Frankie has materials for. Then Iceberg had heard about this bet, and mentioned that him and Frankie were both expert builders. And he'll even give Galileo to help Frankie fight Luffy, giving Frankie a bit more abilities. And if Frankie loses, all the Galileo will help build Luffy a ship from scratch for free. And Luffy doesn't get to prep or anything, and to add on to it, he doesn't get to eat for 2 days before the fight. Luffy says he'll add on not drinking for 2 days before the fight, for the fight as well. Which, after a week, Luffy still doesn't eat or drink for those 2 days, and he easily beat Frankie into the dirt disrespectfully without looking like he was fatigued at all. But some members of Galileo were tracking Luffy, and he did as the bet said. He didn't prep, he didn't eat or drink anything for 2 days. So, well, he didn't train at all for the week, didn't prep for the week. Then for those last 2 days, he didn't eat or drink anything. He was just chilling. So he easily beat Frankie still, and they had to build him a ship. And he also even paid for his own material, paid for his own, but he paid for materials for them. They didn't want him to, but he still bought the materials since he wanted the ship to be a bit bigger than usual. But by the time they built him a ship that's big enough, it was about the size of the Red Force. And Luffy still named it, well Frankie can put like a lion head on it. Luffy thought it looked like a sun, so he called it the Thousand Sunny. And with the ship being about the size of the Red Force, it can fit. It's just necessarily big. It can fit like probably like I'd say it's like as big as the other Supernova ships. But Luffy's boat is only meant like he wants to only be like at least at the most 20 guys. Because like the crew that like Shanks has like between like 30 and 40 guys, I believe. At the most, Luffy would take on 20 at the most. But yeah, as he leaves, he would invite Frankie aboard as he already has Brook, and Frankie agreed. So with this, Frankie, Luffy, and Brook set sail. Then as they go, they eventually would reach they reach Jaya, and while they're here, they kind of just relax. Then they hear about Skypiea from basically Cricket as they hung out with him for a bit. Then Cricket told them about Skypiea, they wanted to go there now. This did but it did confuse Cricket a bit on why they actually believe in the legend that they recently heard about, or why Luffy would mainly. Brook said they sort of heard a few tales about it himself, and then, Frankie says he doesn't care, he just wants to be in the sky. So yeah. But with this, they eventually do decide to go to they do decide to go to Skypiea. And in Skypiea, it's a pretty fun thing, I'll be honest. So yeah. But this is kind of best I can say about it right now, because NL is in Skypiea, but Luffy kind of just slaughters everyone there, disrespectfully, if they're an opponent. So yeah. Skypiea is kind of too easy of an arc to be considered an arc. So Skypiea pretty easily ran through. Unless Frankie's the only one that kind of gets hurt by lightning. Brook kind of gets annoyed by it because his hair's being singed. Frankie's a literal robot, or cyborg with metal parts, which is still annoying. So yeah. Yeah, so back onto this. Basically, it's basically just Luffy beating Luffy beats NL pretty easily because NL is currently in charge. And everyone else there is beaten as well. Luffy leaves, and he knows a cannon when he sees one. So finding the giant gold like bar that they have, it's not really threatening at all. Luffy knows it's not cannon, even if Frankie and Brook think it is. Usually that leads to them heading back to heading back to Water 7 actually to smelt it down. So then they leave with more billions of berries, around 10 billion berries in total. So yeah. So now we go on to basically just Luffy leaving Skypiea again, and then leaving Water 7 again, and he would ask Cricket join his crew. Cricket is currently sick, so he says not right now, but once he's cured of his sickness, he'll go. Frankie was the one deep diving for all the treasure while they were here. Frankie found a lot of it, so it worked out for him. So with this, we go on to now just we can go on to probably just for this being like Alabasta and everything. But, well, Luffy, the only person who can gets here is Chopper because, well, when it came to Walpole, no one was thinking they were hanging out here for a bit. And that Chopper, they heard about Walpole from actually Dr. Green's side comments. And the other villagers that they learned about Walpole. So then they go and decide to actually completely fight Walpole and obliterate them. So yeah, they found out Walpole, they found out how bad he is, and then they decided to completely obliterate Walpole and his kingdom. And they did it pretty easily, actually. Walpole's not too strong. So, yeah. With Walpole being pretty weak compared to the Straw Hats, or the three of them right now, they're chased off, and Frankie actually wanted Walpole's fruit. He asks Luffy if you know how to get a devil fruit from some devil user, and Luffy says the only way to get it is killing someone. Frankie found value Walpole's fruit that Walpole didn't have, so Frankie luckily hit a good event right in Walpole's chest, which would kill him. But Frankie would get the fruit from Walpole, and he eats it. Giving Frankie the munch fruit. So yeah. Frankie basically grab a few metals that he has in the boat, and when he grabs these metals, he eats them, spits them out, making Walpole metal, but Frankie metal. But to pay respects to the guy that he was killed, he calls it Wapo metal, not Walpole metal. Or pretty sure it's called Wapo metal, Wapo metal anyway, but yeah. So Wapo metal is made by Frankie, and his jaw is now metallic. So, but another 4 devil fruit users on the crew, as Luffy does recruit Chopper as a doctor. So yeah. Chopper would see also like the medbay Luffy has in his boat, thinking it's incredibly big. And this decides to him in Dr. Green's house. Yeah, but this also does become King of Sakura of Drum Island, and then renaming it the Sakura Kingdom. And yeah. Now Frankie is the one to get a bounty. Frankie gets a bounty as well, but so does Luffy, because Luffy is his captain, also told him to kill Walpole. Giving Frankie a bounty of roughly about 40 million for killing a king, Luffy 35 million for not showing off anything impressive. Because he's a kid that doesn't really fight against really anyone on the crew for a long time, not against anyone on the crew, fighting against most people when the crew would fight, or against anyone notable with bounties, Luffy's bounty for the regular pirate crew is basically non-existent. So, yeah. He had a bounty worth 20 million, but he's not really a hotshot at all, so he's not even a supernova for Nova of his generation. But Luffy goes around all the way back to the East Blue at some point, and stays there for a bit with Frankie and Brook, building up their abilities to train them both in some form of hockey. So he turns 17. When he was 17, he would leave, and he even visits Sabo's grave that Ace personally made, even though Sabo's not dead. So, yeah. But he built it, and when he built it, well, not built it, but when Luffy visited it, dropping off a few things, Frankie made Sabo a normal grave. So, yeah. And with this, Luffy would leave, heading to Shelltown first, obviously wanting to make some waves in this new generation. As we kind of heard about what supernovas were from basically Ace's generation. Because we were confirmed that there are supernovas in that generation. It's Cavendish and Ace are 2 of them. So yeah. But with this, eventually we go into basically just Luffy finding Alvida's crew along the way to Shelltown, as they're going to attack a marine base. But with this, Luffy ended up beating up just Alvida's crew, taking Kobe, bringing him all the way to Shelltown, dropping off there. They hear about Zoro, and immediately Frankie basically ended up kind of just making like a knife that's built to cut rope. As well, Luffy's Odachi kind of it'd work a lot more effectively, but it'd be a waste to sharpen a blade that was used for a dumb purpose. So yeah. Frankie made a knife, freed Zoro, and then Zoro actually asked Luffy if he's a swordsman or carried those around to seem tough. And Luffy says both. This put out his Odachi, laying out one giant slash that cut the marine base in half immediately. And Zoro shocked because he couldn't do that with one slash, even if he's at full ability. Luffy will walk towards the base, then says Noramatsu Phantom Slash, which is basically him using his Nodachi, slapping it so fast that all of his slashes seem to basically be after effects, or like he didn't slash at all, which is him moving so fast using basically just gear second. So yeah, he only uses it in his arms. So yeah. With this, the whole base basically is cut to pieces, and Morgan's on the ground holding his chest with the giant X slashed into it. Then he looked at Luffy, and Luffy cut him across the face, almost killing him with that one slash. And then Luffy just walks away, as Kobe was not associated with them at all, as he insisted on the villagers not telling them that Kobe was part of their crew. And how badly Morgan was roughed up, well, he kind of woke up and was actually arrested by Ripper, taking this opportunity. Garp had arrived hearing Luffy was back in the east recently, so he came to see what was going on in Shelltown, only to see that Zoro was gone and Morgan was arrested, and the marine base was literal in pieces. And I assume this was Luffy's strength that he got from the red-haired crew. And Zoro joined Luffy because Luffy told him to go because he heard of his grandpa being back in the east. So it was the safest option for them to do basically. The safest option for them was to have Zoro go with them. So yeah. With this, there also was more to go because to test out Luffy's skill against his own on his own way. And well, they will have decent food here. So yeah. Luffy's an okay cook. He's able to like cook basic foods. So yeah, because he's kind of a chore boy for like for a few years on Shanks' crew, which led to him doing like chores like cooking and everything, cooking, cleaning, so on and so forth. But yeah, next will be Orange Town, where they're honestly here to just buy like cooking material. With Luffy's boat being fast, they think the same time as Canonical Luffy does. Well, at least them being able to save Nami, or Luffy saving Nami. We're just blocking the attacks with the swords. With the sword, that's what then used on a gear to cut down the two guys. The Brook would basically run towards Buggy's crew and cut them all down in a split second. As with this 1 year training, he's able to use a very weak version of Soul Solid. So, yeah. Also, Zoro's currently using a new blade that Luffy had given him called Chusui. So, yeah. With this eventually, Zoro's able to cut down a few guys on Buggy's crew as well, and Frankie's able to just beat them all up pretty easily. So, yeah. Now with this, we go on to probably just them binding materials they need once Buggy's crew leaves in just despair. And they head to that random island that Alvito's currently on. So, yeah. Except it's going to be basically just Nami going with them. As their ship is big, and they're all pretty strong. Especially Frankie, who's a cyborg. Luffy's current bounty being higher than Arlong's and Frankie's as well. But Luffy's bounty would raise to 135 million, all the way up to 70 million for cutting Marine base to pieces, and almost killing Morgan, and then kind of defeating every Marine there. Not bad. So yeah. So, but yeah. Yeah. But, pause. Alright. So, what was it now? But yeah. Luffy basically would head to Brautier with with Nami, Chopper, Frankie, Brook, and Zoro. They arrive, and at Brautier, they kind of chill out eating, and Brook's wearing a disguise, but eventually Sanji like, why are you wearing a mask? Because Brook had lifted his mask to eat. Only for Brook to reveal he's a skeleton. So yeah. This is about Sanji and Zeph a decent amount, but Zeph assumed it was Devil Fruit. Sanji didn't know what that was. But Zeph has heard about them a few times. He's been in the Grand Line. I assume he's at least encountered one user of a Devil Fruit. May not have been strong, but it's Devil Fruit. So. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Now we can probably go forward, probably just Gin getting his food. Then Chopper will actually bring him to the side and be intending to him, pretty easily actually. Then Krieg would arrive, and immediately they'd be in Krieg's I declare this place mine. And Krieg would look up at Luffy, who's recently made waves, giving a 70 million berry bounty recently. And they kind of made waves in the East Blue because it's the highest bounty in the East. And Krieg immediately froze, seeing who it was, but he immediately demanded Luffy hand over his ship, and all his soldiers, especially the girl. But then Luffy looked at the armor, asking Frankie, hey, can you find all the weapons in this? Frankie says, yeah, you can see a lot of them. Before Krieg says anything else, he's punched in the face by Luffy. Then they rob him of all of his clothing, and mainly his armor. Suddenly Frankie would eat the armor and spit it back out, and kind of made it just a really, really, really cool piece of armor. One solitary piece of armor that had a lot of utilities to it, kind of like an Iron Man suit, but it can it's just an Iron Man suit made of nanotech. It's kind of just what it is. So yeah. But Frankie would eventually absorb this into his own body, as he holds out one blast of poison, telling them all to go away or else he'll shoot it out. And with that, they all retreat. So yeah. Yeah. So with this, these two basically just end up retreating. Pause again. Frankie turned to blast Krieg's crew with the poison that Krieg's armor had, and they eventually retreat and leave Krieg behind. Or try to until Gin picked up Krieg by the hair, throwing him onto the boat, telling Pearl to take care of the captain. Pearl done with the boat, being offended that Gin's going with them, and attacked Gin. But Gin, second strongest on the crew, would just hit Pearl once in the face and knock him out. So, yeah, using his tonfa. As he was giving those back by Krieg, right, once Krieg walked in. But then the crew would leave with Pearl and Krieg. But then as they're going far, far away, Miyako cut the boat to pieces, killing everyone on board. So, yeah. Then Zoro wants to fight Mihawk, and then so does Gin out of revenge for his crew, but Gin and Zoro both lose. Gin's almost cut in half until Luffy blocked Mihawk's slash, using Norimitsu, then using Roger to attack. Mihawk would kind of just come out in proportion to the blades, as they're both like one blade's like a foot longer, the other one's a foot shorter, because his Nodachi is like 4'9", and so that's like a whole foot shorter than Luffy, like less than a foot shorter. Then his Odachi is like a whole 2 feet shorter. So hold up. Yeah, one blade is like a whole foot shorter. One blade is a little less than a foot shorter. And a blade is actually like a little over 2 feet shorter. So yeah, because Odachi like 3'4", his Nodachi is like 4'9". So yeah, and Luffy's 5'8". So yeah. Or he's probably a bit taller, like same as Zoro, probably because he eats a bit different. He does a lot more activities that wouldn't require just growing his body in different ways. A little bit early for him. So he's a bit bigger, same as Zoro. So yeah. So one blade's a foot shorter, exactly. Another blade's like a little over 2 feet shorter. So yeah. But this Luffy also fights Mihawk himself, and Mihawk's actually impressed with Luffy's sword skill a bit more than Zoro's. So yeah, like he's been amazed that Luffy can wield such unproportioned blades, can wield two such unproportioned blades. But using them individually, he seems a lot stronger as well. So yeah. So yeah, this does greatly impress what was it? Yeah, impress Mihawk, and tells Zoro he could take a few notes from Luffy. And she would question how he got the black blade, but Zoro doesn't want to admit it, but he says out loud that Luffy was the one that earned it and gave it to Zoro because Luffy didn't want Shusui. So yeah. But we might try to basically take away Shusui from Zoro, give it to Luffy. Luffy just grabbed him by the hair and threw him to the side. Not hair, but by his head, threw him to the side, telling him to bug off. As he helped Zoro to his feet, telling him that Shusui is his and he earned it. So yeah. But this Zoro doesn't believe it as he just stabs Shusui in the side of the boat. Like Sunny saying like, oh yeah, they also found Usopp. I forgot to say that. I tried to go over that whole thing, but they found him, but that's a really short arc. That arc is basically non-existent at all. So yeah, that's not even an arc. It's just abuse. But yeah, so Usopp's still with them right now, but he had it right inside the Sunny. And then says he'll use Shusui when he thinks he's earned the right. When he decides, he actually pulls Shusui out of the side of the boat, throwing it to the deck. And he's patching up the side, the stabbed side. So yeah. With this, Mihawk would leave, and Luffy is aware of who Mihawk is. He's met him once or twice. So yeah. But now Kokoyashi's Nami can't sail away the Sunny without them noticing it. So they already know she's leaving, and she already knows that they know. So they eventually just jump onto her boat and not on her boat, onto the Sunny. They leave. And they leave with her towards Kokoyashi. Later, Kokoyashi has Nami adopted in Arlong Park, and yeah. So in Arlong Park, well, it's honestly, how do I phrase this? Frankie just used the poison he stole from Krieg's armor. And so like, they kind of have that, and Nami wanted that out. And Hachi happened to be off destroying a marine ship, so everyone here dies besides Hachi, Kirby, and some random fodder fishmen. Now that they arrive again, a whole crew's dead. So yeah, because they kind of went through their nose, their mouths, and now their gills as well. So they died a bit faster than the humans did. So yeah. Now when Hachi and Body saw the giant ship, and Nami revealed that she brought the ship here, but they're already dead. And before Hachi can say anything else, he's punched in the chest by Luffy, who just appeared in front of him. Then Kirby would attack Luffy, only for Sanji to basically jump in with the kick. And then non-kick in the middle of the punch. And then Frankie would hit him in the face full force, knocking him out. So yeah. Next up is probably just that fodder fisherman, who gets almost cut in half by Brook, and then the body drops in the water. Hachi ends up dropping in the water as well, so those random fishermen that Sanji and Frankie double teamed. Then yeah, with this, the fishermen lose. Nami went to the town, she asked about she meeting with Arlong. She says, oh, the whole crew's dead, she poisoned them all. And everyone just shocked, she's so calm. But they go there, the whole crew's truly dead. Well, they're unconscious, but they're dying in their sleep. So, yeah. But how much time they would wake up, they're dead. So, yeah. So, yeah. Now we go on to probably just maybe probably just Logtown, where Zoro would get 2 new blades until he thinks he's worthy of Shusui, being Yubashiri, and contested the third. Smoker fights against Luffy, but Luffy can easily evade Logias, knowing that, well, we use one attack that can somewhat compete or push back Smoker, but it burn his skin pretty badly, which is Red Hawk, which he will not use, because it burn his skin pretty badly. Instead, he will try to use One-Man Haki, and kind of well, so Luffy can like burst of Riro and Wano. Luffy can do like a short burst of One-Man Haki and nail Smoker in the face with a punch, sending him flying away. That's all he can do is like a short burst of it. So yeah, with this, Luffy ends up leaving a bit annoyed, and so the Sharks and leave gathering their gear. Now, basically, going to Smoker when he wakes up, and Garp happens to be here, as Garp was tracking Luffy out of the east. And Smoker talks about how Luffy hit him in the face, and Garp decides to bring Smoker along as a student, and Tashigi is kind of just there as a byproduct. Then Hino eventually joined the group later on, but it's after Alabasta. So, yeah. Before we this part, like and subscribe if you want another part, and tell me if you think this could end up being a bit better than the original. Probably not, but we can try. Alright, deuces.